Hello guys, so today we are going to solve this rotting oranges, and I have already solved this and this is my code. So I'm not going to write again, but I will explain you how I solved this and what is the solution for the rotten oranges. Before we go to solution, let's first have a look at the problem statement itself. So we have a multidimensional array. So this is a multidimensional array and we are given oranges, and basically we have three types of oranges. So this is the two, these are the rotten ones. These are the fresh ones, and the empty lines are where we don't have a orange. Alright, so what we have to do is we have to find in how many minutes all the oranges can get rotten. So here's the example. So first we have this array and this is the rotten one. Now after 1 minute this two will be rotten. So the way it works is that it checks in the directions. So if this one is rotten, then this and this, these two can get affected. So in this case, if this one is bad orange, so this two will also get affected after 1 minute, and this is how it happened. So after 1 minute this two gets affected, after 2 minutes these two get affected, and after third minute only this one get affected, because for this orange there are four directions, 1 2 3 4, and since this is not, we cannot check diagonally, so only this one is affected, and in the fourth minute this one is affected. I hope you now know what we have to do. We have to find what is the minimum minute that through which all the oranges can get dirty. Now if for some reason there is an orange over here, and after 4 minutes or after 10 minutes this orange will not get affected. So if we have an orange at a position in an array that never gets affected, then we return -1 because it's never rotten. Alright, and this is the third scenario is that if we don't have a rotten apple, if we don't have a fresh apple, sorry, if we don't have a fresh apple, then orange, then we have to return 0 because there is nothing. So the answer is 0. Alright, so to solve this I have written an algorithm. It is very self-explanatory. Alright, so these are the 5 steps that we do, and basically this will help us solve the problem. So in the first step we find all the fresh oranges that we have in our multidimensional array. So in this whole array, how many fresh oranges that we have, we calculate. So here we are calculating how many fresh oranges do we have. Alright, if we have a 0 fresh orange, then we return 0 because there's nothing that is going to work, right? Because there's nothing too rotten. So like the example 3, we have covered this scenario over here. So if the total fresh is 0, if we don't have a fresh orange, we return 0. So that we have done here. Alright, so this one is done. Now we find out all the rotten oranges and store it in a stack. Alright, so now we traverse again on this whole matrix, and we find out how many oranges are rotten. Alright, now in this example there is only one orange that is rotten, but we can have an example where multiple oranges are rotten. So that's why we have to use a stack and fill it with the values. And what we fill is we fill I and j. Now what is I and j? So if this is an array, if this is a matrix, then I and j is the indices 0 0 0 1 0 2 likewise. So in our example we store 0 0 in a stack. So here we add 0 0 to a stack, right? Let me add it over here too, you know. So rotten apple, orange. Sorry, yeah, it's over. It's added over here. Okay. Now what happens after that? We define a variable as total step. Now we have to check the total steps that it took. So that's why we are just including total minute. You can call it anything, but in the problem statement we have to say minute. So that's why I have written minute. All right. Now after we have the total minutes, what do? We pop each element from the stack. All right. We take this element out and check what are its neighbors. What are the four neighbors that this position have? All right. So 0 0. What are the position? What are the four neighbors for 0 0? -1 and 0, -1 and 0, 0 1, and 1 0. Now we have to check for the directions, and if we find a fresh orange, we store it in a temporary stack. All right. So here we have found 1, so we add 0 1 here and 1 0 over here. All right. So this is how we add two indices. Initially we have 6 total fresh oranges. Let me just show you so you know. All right, so you can see that 6. So we have printed 6 oranges. So we have 6. So we have currently we have 6 fresh oranges. Step is 0. All right. Now we check for a direction. We check in the 4 directions, and if we find a fresh orange in any direction, we add that value in a temporary stack, and we deduct a value from the total oranges. So we deduct a value from here. Since we have added 2 values here, we will minus 2 from here. All right. So here the value is going to be 4. All right. Now if the current stack is empty, so we are at this point, right? 0 0. So current stack is empty. So if the current stack is empty, copy elements from temporary stack. So copy elements from here and paste it over here. So now this is our stack. All right. And increment total step by 1. So the total step is 1. And in code, this is what we are doing. We are checking for the 4 directions. In 4 directions, this is I minus 1, I plus 1, j minus 1, j plus 1. And we are adding, if we found value 1 on any of the direction, if the value is 1, we add that value to a new stack. Consider new stack as a temporary stack. We deduct a value from the total fresh, and we mark the previous with that value to a rotten one because it is already rotten, so we have to change it to 2. So now these two are 2, right? Because after 1 minute this will change to 2. I hope this makes sense. All right, now we are again here. Pop the elements from stack. For each element we check for the 4 directions. Now we are here. All right, now we take this value. All right, and then we iterate over this value. So it has 2 new fresh apples. This value has 2 new fresh values. So we add both of them. All right, 0 2 and 1 1. All right, we again deduct 2 minus 2 from total fresh oranges, and this is here. We will again change this to 2 because these two are rotten again. All right, now we are at this point. 1 0. Does 1 0 have any fresh apples in its neighbor? It's adjacent to it. No. So again we are at this point. If the temporary stack is empty, copy elements from the temporary stack. So we copy elements from here. All right, paste it over here, right? And again here we are. Now let's take the values 0, 2. Does it have any fresh apple? No, it doesn't have any fresh apple. So we remove this value from the stack. Now we are at this point 1, 1. Does it have any fresh oranges? Yes, it does. This one is the fresh orange. So we add 2, 1 here. Alright. Total fresh oranges to 1, and this is to 2. Now we just need one more. Sorry, I have to. Alright. Now we are here. Again remember, the stack is empty. Copy values from the temporary stack. Alright. So we are at this point. Check for the 4 directions. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we have it again. So we rotten it. So 2, 2. Alright. This one is done. And what? Now 0 fresh apples are orange. This is at the third step. Now this is not going to have any more new values, right? So this has no new values. So we end here where there is nothing more to add. So we return 3. Alright. So if the current stack and temporary stack both are empty, we exit from the loop. So here if the stack and the temporary stack both are empty, we remove from the loop. So here this loop is going to be terminated if both the values are empty. Alright, then we have the final step. If total fresh is equal to 0, if all the fresh apples I have gotten rotten, so now we don't have a fresh oranges left. All the apples are dirty now or infected. So the total fresh is 0. We return total minutes that it took. So we return this value, total steps. If this is not the case, if this is false, we return -1. Okay, now let's submit this so that you know that this code is working. So I'm just going to submit it, and I have already done it 3 times. So now you know that this code is working. Alright, and at this point, if you think that some part of this code you don't understand, write it down in the comment section and I will try to explain you. I try to resolve your query. Alright, and please don't forget to subscribe because it helps me a lot. And thank you and have a nice day. Bye.